higher than that of Eastern Europe. And the reason we say tends to be is because what happens if we have something like this? You have one anomaly in there. But overall, the East Asian crude birth rate tends to be higher than that of Eastern Europe. Can somebody describe a trend that's on that graph? New hand, trend. Trend is change over time. We're looking at a function of time. There's at least 3 ways that you could describe this.
Overall, Eastern Europe's crude birth rate is way bigger than that.
There you go. The crude birth rate for Eastern Europe is declining over time, or over the last 20 years, or over the last 50 years, and projected for the next 50 years beyond. Is there another trend that you would notice up there? Could you say that overall the crude birth rate for East Asia is also declining over time? Could you also say that overall the crude birth rate for East Asia and East Europe are declining over time? Could you also say that overall the crude birth rate for Eastern Europe declines at a similar rate of that of East Asia over time? Okay, but going back to the pattern, it doesn't matter that they're both declining, East Asia's is still higher. Does that help clarify patterns and trends?
Yes.
Pattern is usually a snapshot of 1 year, maybe a couple. And you're comparing, in general, you're usually comparing 2 countries, 2 regions over 1 category. Often it's a map. Trends, you have to have that function of time in there. What has been happening, and then based on that, what would we project to happen in the future? Give me a little raise of hand if you need a different explanation of this. Okay, so if we were to look at, say, let's not just call this crude birth rate. Let's call this crude birth rate, and let's call this GNIPPP. So now we're no longer comparing 2 countries. We're not even comparing 2 regions. We're comparing 2 stats, which is what I'm asking you to do with the big section after this. I'm not asking you to use a country as a case study. I'm asking you to gauge the connection between 2 categories. That's what this is here. So a pattern would be that as the gross national income and the per person parity index declines, as this statistic declines, what do you notice happening to the crude birth rate? It also declines. So in other words, the pattern is, as one declines, the other one tends to decline with it. Is that true at every single year? Yeah, there's a little peak here, a little dip there, but overall it tends to be the case. There's a pattern that's developing, that when one happens, the other one happens. In math, we would call this a direct relationship between 2 variables. That's a pattern. One variable declines and the other variable declines with it. Now, a trend. Now we have to put that function of time in there specifically. Over the last 50 years, in what direction have the GNIPPP and the CBR gone together? Where are they trending? Down. Hey, on Twitter, is Britney Spears trending anymore? What's that mean? If she's not trending on Twitter,
Her
popularity is kind of decreasing. Is that just happened this year? No, No, how long would you say she has not been trending at all, really?
Different day. 8 years.
Maybe since she started shaving her head, stopped wearing panties, that kind of thing. Things got weird, right? So she hasn't been trending at all. Can anybody tell me someone that is trending? A celebrity that we tend to follow?
Ariana Grande, so hot.
Okay, so not only did he give me the answer, but he actually analyzed why she's trending. When to establish a trend here, at what point in time do you think she started trending? No, I mean, it wasn't at birth. Obviously, that'd be just kind of really weird and creepy based on this analysis. When did she start? 3 years ago.
About 3 years ago.
Okay, so she has been trending for the past 3 years. Now, translate trending into geographic terms. What's that mean?
She's increasing.
What is increasing?
Okay.
Her popularity. So over the last 3 years, her popularity has been increasing because certain population of men find her mildly attractive. To understate that.
Or in this case, not.
Yeah, okay. You can't be trending at the moment, like just be born out of nowhere and all of a sudden, oh, you're trending. That just doesn't happen. You have to have this function of time that goes along with it. All right, folks, hopefully that clears that up a little bit. That's a big part of what this first section is. If you're still struggling on this, don't be okay with that. Raise your hand and I will come talk to you one-on-one and we'll work out a couple of separate problems together. But most of you, I think, have got the picture on this, so you can go ahead and continue on. Get this thing done by Wednesday. When you come into class Wednesday, you're going to trade, you're going to peer review. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, look at the last page of this packet. There's a rubric that you're going to grade based on 3 criteria: completion, correctness, and depth of knowledge.